Shalom YouTube family, welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, welcome to the family. On this channel, we're going to bring you on our journey to ultimate peace and freedom and help you achieve the exact same things. Now, if that's something that you're interested in, please like, share, and subscribe to help get this message out.
So in today's video, we'll be discussing some things you need to know before moving to Tanzania. The first thing, you want to check the requirements.
Right.
So with this whole pandemic thing, things are changing rapidly, so you want to check, but we'll tell you what we did. So at the time that we came, you had to do a health screen 24 hours before coming on some Tanzanian website. I don't remember what it is, but we can put a link in the description.
Yeah.
Also, you had to have a COVID test within 72 hours of your flight. You had to take a COVID test upon arrival, a rapid test.
Yes.
And you have to, that's part of the health screen. You can pay for that on there. It wouldn't let us do that on the website for some reason, so we had to pay in the airport. And then we had to take the test, wait, they tell you about 15 minutes. It really took like 5 minutes to come back.
Yeah, and it seemed like everybody passed it right instantly.
Yeah, I didn't see anybody fail. Everybody passed, but I don't know.
So I know if you're a person that's kind of scared of taking the test, which we're not too fond of taking the test, but in America, they went all up your nose and was there for about 10, 15 seconds. Here in Africa, Tanzania specifically, it seemed like they really didn't care. They kind of just barely went in and did a little swab and you was good.
So another thing in the requirements, you need a visa. It's different depending on what country you're coming from, but if you're coming from America, you can get a multi-entry visa that's good for a year, but you do have to leave every 3 months.
Yeah.
You can get a visa upon arrival, which is what we did, and it was $100.
$100
for each one of us, $100 per person, so $200 for the both of us. And
also,
you could also do it online, but you have to do it, I believe it's 2 months, it may be 3 months in advance. The other thing is a return flight. So a lot of people have been saying that they need a return flight, that they're actually checking at immigration.
Right.
I think that this is kind of dependent on the immigration officer that you get at the time, because we booked a return flight and no one asked us.
Right.
So
it's weird.
So some people have been stopped for that, some people have not.
Yeah.
So it would probably help to get it just in case they stop you. But
right. Because there have been instances where people have been held up at the airport because they didn't have their return flight and had to buy it at the airport. So you just want to be prepared in all instances.
Right, because of the 90-day thing. You have to leave in 90 days, so they want proof that you're leaving. So the next thing you need to have squared away is your passport. Yeah. So when you get your passport, you need to check and make sure that all of your information is correct. You're going to need the information on your passport repeatedly throughout this process. Yeah. So the first thing you're going to need it for is your ticket. They're going to match your ticket information to your passport, and you could possibly be held up in the airport if those things do not match.
Right.
Now with the tickets, you're going to get a ticket based upon when you want to come. You're going to get a ticket based upon the price. When you do it in, I believe it's Google, where it showed like a calendar with the dates, and it actually had the prices for each day. And that changes dramatically. Like we literally came I want to say a week earlier than we wanted to, because the price when we wanted to come was like $1,200 a ticket, and it was like $800 when on the day that we wanted to come. Well, not per ticket, for both tickets. Yeah. But yeah, it was a significant price drop to go a week earlier, so we went a week earlier. So the next thing is your baggage. So you want to make sure that the size and weight of your baggage is accurate, and that you know how many pieces of luggage that you can bring. So you can find the information for the size and weight of the bags and how many bags you can have on the website for whatever airline that you choose to use. The reason why this is important is because certain things go in your check bag, certain things you're going to have on your carry-on, and a lot of times you put things like your computers, your personal items that you want to be with you in your carry-on bag, and if your carry-on bag ends up being too big, they'll make you check it. So then it defeats the purpose of what you're trying to do. Also with the weight, you can have it heavier, but you have to pay like per pound for that. So if you're trying to stay on a budget and you don't want to pay extra, you need to know that you're within weight or underweight.
And make sure you know prior to going to the airport, because you will have to take it all your stuff out when you get there if it's not if you don't want to spend the extra money for the wait.
And if you don't know how many bags, if you bring an extra bag, you have to pay like hundreds of dollars for a whole nother bag.
So just be prepared.
So you also want to think about your accommodations.
Yeah.
So where are you going to stay? Where are you going to live? Once you leave the airport, you're going where?
Yeah.
Okay? So if you're going to get a hotel, you have to think about that. A hotel, however many dollars per night, that can get very expensive. We chose to do an Airbnb, and we did an Airbnb for a month so that we would have weeks on the ground already here to see what we see, decide where we want to live, and kind of get our feel of the place before we just chose something.
You never want to choose a place before you actually see it once you get here.
And you never want to pay anyone for anything, because you can find places online, call and talk to a person. You don't want to send any money or anything to anyone, and that's not in Africa. That's everywhere. Don't be crazy. So yeah, you need to think about that. But you could definitely start that process out there so that you can get here, be in a house that you want within a week. It's very possible.
And we got our Airbnb months before we actually even got there, just so we make sure we had all the dates that we wanted. A lot of times if you wait to the last minute, you might not get the exact dates that you want. So
for if you want to do a long stay, because a lot of people are doing Airbnbs for like a week. So if you're trying to do a stretch, somebody else might have a week in the middle of that, and then you can't do it. So another thing is, when looking for a house, once you're here, I'm sure you can do it on your own with things like Zoom Tanzania and stuff like that, but we looked at that when we were in America. A lot of it seemed difficult. There's like a lot of the same house posted a lot of times. I saw a lot of people saying things about, you contact the person, it's not the person that owns the house, and you really need to get in contact with the person that owns the house to be legit, to pay, to make sure you're not paying the wrong person, and then you don't really have the house. It's a lot. So out here, you have a dalali. So a dalali is kind of like a real estate agent. I wouldn't say the same, but kind of. So they're going to take you around. You're going to tell them, okay, I want to live in Upanga. I want to live in wherever. And they're going to take you around to these different places.
And so with that, if they end up finding you a place where you can stay, you're going to end up having to pay them a lot of times first month's rent, whatever that may be. So if you're paying $600 a month and 3 months in advance, then you're going to have to pay that dalali $600, for the first month's rent.
Yeah, so you want to negotiate. A lot of people we have heard say that the dalali fee is 20,000 T shillings for them showing you around, and then when you get the place, it's the first month's rent. But negotiate with everything. This is not like America where it's like set prices.
Yeah.
You can negotiate. If they say first month's rent and you're like, well, let me give you like 400, they might be like, okay, and then your rent be 700 or whatever you choose.
We know this because we did it.
We negotiated
and we got the price down.
He said first month's rent. We paid less than first month's
almost
rent.
half of the first month.
We paid.
Okay.
He negotiated.
So one thing that you might have to get once you get here is electricity. Now all the electricity is paid in advance, and you can go to certain places like different markets or little stores to get the electricity. So how much electricity you get is all going to depend on how much you're going to use once you get here. For example, the AC, when you're using the AC, is probably going to use the most electricity. So
if you have one.
If you have one, 'cause every place doesn't have AC. But if you do, the AC does use the most electricity out of everything in the house. So what we typically do is just open the windows up and let the air flow in, and during the day, and at night we periodically use the AC. So another thing you would have to prepay is the gas. So gas for us was about $23,000 for a tank, and they said it could last about 1 or 2 months depending on how much we cook.
So one thing that we all cannot live without, well, we probably can, but we don't want to, a cell phone. So you're gonna need an unlocked phone. You can buy an unlocked phone, or if you have a phone plan already, you can pay off your plan. If your plan's already paid off, you can have your carrier unlock it. That's what we did.
Yeah.
So you basically unlock your phone, because when you get a phone, it's locked, meaning if you got it from AT&T, you can only use AT&T. If you got it at T-Mobile, you can only use T-Mobile. So you get it unlocked so that you can get a SIM card from another carrier to use.
So now the SIM cards are about 1,000 T shillings a piece. Now sometimes when you go to the stores, they might try to tell you it's more, But remember, it's 1,000 pretty much everywhere you go. Now, the different stores you can get these SIM cards from are either like a place like Tigo or Vodacom.
When you go to get your phone, so if you're coming, like, say you're coming from America like we did, you do need your passport to get it.
And it will turn you away if you do not have the passport.
Yes.
We had that happen to us.
Yeah, the first time we went, we forgot our passports. Well, we didn't know we needed our passport.
Yeah.
So we had to go home and get them and then go back and do everything for our phones.
Yeah.
So with the phones, it's the same as the electricity. You can pay your bill through M-Pesa, and there's a lot of options. You can do daily, you can do weekly, you can do monthly.
Yeah.
You can do, like, the bundles that we have, it's for the month. It expires at the end of the month. But there were other ones where they don't expire. You buy however much, and it lasts till whenever. And that's different for text, for talk time, and for data. So you're also probably going to want to get Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much close to the same process as getting a phone. You need a SIM card and everything. So you can get like the little small hotspot thing. You can get that, which is good. You can carry it with you if you leave the house, if you want to do that. Or you can get like a full-on router. But either way, you still need a SIM card, which, depending on where you go, could be 1,000 T shilling.
But they also have the option of you getting the Wi-Fi set up at your house, was probably the best, because everybody we've talked to that had that happen to them said their Wi-Fi speeds are great. So if you have that option and you really need fast Wi-Fi, you probably should get it set up at your house.
So travel, you want to figure out how you're going to get around. So you can get a car, but if you're not sure where you're going to stay, what you're going to do, obviously, in the meantime, you need a way to get around. So we use Uber, and we also use Bolt. They're both apps on your phone.
Yeah.
Bolt is typically cheaper.
So one difference with Uber here and Uber in America, which I don't know for sure, but you can pay cash with Uber here, and a lot of the drivers prefer you to pay cash, and some of them might cancel if you try to pay with the card, as we seen before.
So let's talk about money.
Yeah.
You want to have some sort of income when you come here. Some kind of passive income, or even if it's some kind of online work that you do every day, you need to make money. Don't come here and try to just live off of your savings. You could, but it's not a great plan. So you do want to have money saved, and you want to have enough to be good. Now, I can't really tell you how much money that is, because that depends on you and your lifestyle and how you plan to live here. I wouldn't advise trying to come here and live how you live in America. Also, I advise that you bring some money in cash. You should figure out how much, what you have and what's good for you, and you want to bring that just so that you can transfer some money into T shilling when you get here, so that you'll have money to pay for your Uber and your whatever, because they do predominantly take cash. Have some type of bank account where you can use it internationally, or if your bank doesn't do that, find a bank that does, or get one of those online banks that do that. But figure out how you're going to work your money and how you're going to be able to use your money before you get here, because you need money to live.
Also, we would suggest having more than one bank account when you get here, because if something happens to a bank account that you have, for example, if it freezes and then they put a hold on it and you can't get your money out, then you're kind of screwed. So having multiple bank accounts will allow you to still have access to money if something was to happen to one of your accounts. To sum it all up, you just have to be prepared and do your own research. Also, we giving you some information, but you're still going to have to do your own research when it comes to moving to Africa. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe for us, y'all. And with that, we're going to say shalom.
Shalom.